And
engaging the core, Heidi, we talked about this. Is that
pulling your belly button back towards your spine is a cue that I use sometimes.
Most people, when they come out of this 6-week session in the pool training, their core is so much stronger than it was going in. All right, you guys, so let's now go back to your jog recovery pace, and you might take a minute or two normally to do this. We'll just, for demonstration purposes on the film here, we'll just do it. See, they've slowed it way down, getting their heart rate back down, recovering, getting the breathing back. And if they were talking during that, they would have been able to talk relatively comfortably. But now we're going to drop it down to, say, why don't we go down to, say, 10K, 10-mile pace, somewhere in that zone. And that you would not obviously do for 5 minutes. We would do that more for a minute, minute and a half to 2 minutes.
So one thing I don't, it's hard to see when you're in the pool, from watching people in the pool, but what I think I'm seeing is a little bit, let's focus on our arms a little bit. Keeping your elbows brushing by your side, so they're straight up and down, that your elbows aren't flaring to the side. And also one thing I'm definitely seeing is this, your fist needs to come to your hip. You guys just make sure that you're not just keeping your hands out in front of your body. That fist comes to the hip every time.
Yeah, that looks better.
So the surface of the water to your hip. Surface of the water to your hip.
All right, ready? So we're going to a 10K, 10-mile pace now, and Heidi, continue to maybe critique and commentate.
So for me, when I'm pool running, I'm saying the same thing. It's the challenge is you start talking to your friends, and then you come back in your own head and you realize that, oh, wait a second, I'm totally hinged at the hip and I'm pedaling my feet, not stomping. And if it starts to feel really easy, you're probably swimming and not marching and running, aqua-jogging. So just continue to.
Can you guys talk at this point? It's probably getting a little less comfortable.
A little bit.
No long sentences.
No long. Very good way of putting it, Kristin. And you should be able to speak long sentences at marathon pace.
Right.
Certainly at aerobic heart rate, you should be able to speak long paragraphs. But with this, you're now starting to drop into a zone where it's getting a little more anaerobic. All right, so let's go into recovery now again.
I have to say the arm, that's a lot more work.
Yep.
I like to think of it as when you get to your hip, basically you're almost breaching the water on the backside. Yeah. So that's how you know you've gotten there.
Just touch the hip, and it should be straight up and down. Just keep reviewing them. So head is in natural alignment with the spine. You're standing tall, not hinging at the hip, marching in place, keeping the ankles neutral, like stomping grapes, and then paying attention to what the arms are doing. And that's where it really goes haywire, I think, is elbows start flaring and you start cupping your hands like you're swimming. So you want to keep your hands in a loose fist and just come up to the surface of the water to your hip. Right. And go through it again.
So this third workout, and this would be a different day altogether, and to break things up but also give you different kinds of workouts, is to go very short at a very rapid pace. So this would be sub 5K, meaning faster than 5K, maybe like your mile pace, and do it for very short durations. You get a nice recovery. You might go 15 seconds hard, 15 seconds on, and then maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds, maybe a minute off. You can call this out yourself. You can decide as you're going along, and you can break it up this way, and make sure that your breathing gets back together to a normal rate before you start another hard. All right.
Well, Mark, also, this pool's a little cold. And we're already starting to sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some.
And you guys use the pool timers when you're doing these workouts. That's great.
And we have one of us usually has a watch.
Are you also, I'm assuming, practicing, especially the longer workouts, hydration? You're getting your electrolytes in. Do you ever go over to the side of the pool do that? Because that's something I think has been missed sorely over the years with hydro trainers. I know with Cynthia we never used to do it. Did we, Cynthia? No. And
we usually have to take bathroom breaks. But we don't necessarily go get water during.
Okay. All right, so let's start with your little jog pace and then head right into it. And then Heidi can demonstrate again.
Good form, people.
How about you?
What's that?
I was sweating.
Yeah, I was. Ready?
Yeah.
You get sick of me, but same thing. Looks good. Focusing on your form.
15 seconds.
Not leaning, you guys. Stay nice and tall.
It's that cadence, as Heidi was pointing out earlier, is really picking up.
Keep the hands moving up and down.
That's 15 seconds. Go into your recovery. So there's no way, as Heidi knows, we're here, and she can maybe elaborate on this, that they could keep up that form at that at that pace.
No.
You would get out of control really quickly, and then the aerobic, the workout becomes so anaerobic it becomes destructive.
I think that's what's just so hard about really making this. Form is everything, and if you do it right, you don't need to do this for 2 hours. You just keep focusing on your form.
The types of days, we're going to have a couple of links for you, and you'll be able to get this on the Charlottesville Track Club website, on our website, the Ragged Mountain website. We'll have some, and then we'll also have workouts to do, specific workouts. Let's use a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday regimen. On Monday, you might do the quick turnovers. Wednesday, you might do the moderate. Thursday, you might do a shorter distance overall, 35 minutes, say, and 40 minutes, and then do some smaller form of workout. And then on Saturday, you go longer, maybe an hour and a half, and you go ahead and do the marathon pace for those 5-minute interval periods. Your mileage in the water is almost accurately spot on to your mileage outside. So if you run for 50 minutes on the road, 50 minutes in the pool comes pretty close to simulating it. But again, the only way you can totally simulate it accurately is to work out harder, get that heart rate up.
As a former swimmer, swimmers really try to avoid resistance as much as possible because you want to smooth the path through the water as possible. You actually try to find as much resistance as you can within that basic form that Heidi has been reinforcing. And so as we got going faster, it became easier for me to try to snake my arms through the water as opposed to the very resistance based churning that we're supposed to do this way. Same with pushing. Sometimes it feels easier to angle your foot because you can get in and out more efficiently. The point here is
with any sport, we're constantly pushing the envelope with demonstrating different forms of efficiency, different ways to kind of beat the system. And one of the things that's come out recently is that you can actually transition out of the pool from water to land with less risk of actually getting re-injured. Quite often stretch back to your patients, come out of the pool, and 2-3 weeks later they re-injure themselves. So we're using the angle of the pool as we work our way up to the shallow end. So you've graduated out of the deep end of the pool, and now they're working out on they're actually weight bearing now, but they're only probably about 30% buoyant here. Then they're going to come up to the shallow end and work out there where they're actually going to be about 50% buoyant, and then turn around and back do it again. Very, very safe way to transition out onto land. Once you do get out onto land, you should continue. Let's say you're a 4-day-a-week person. I would do 2 days on land initially, 2 days in the water. After a few weeks, go to 3 days on land, 1 day on water, and I would stay in the water for the foreseeable future. I know Kristin really actually, and Mark too, actually enjoy keeping this as a part of their regimen. Several of our athletes have been running for years. They're uninjured now. They're not injured anymore, and they're in the pool one day a week. When you do come out of the water, obviously, you don't want to jump right back into full-fledged training. You're going to be really fit, but your body isn't going to be used to that weight bearing, so you want to start with something like a classic Dr. Wilder regimen of a minute of walking, a minute of running type thing, and doing that on flat and on soft surface.
One thing to say, if you're trying to add miles and you want to do doubles, pool running is a great double exercise. Do it in the afternoon after a nice run in the morning. You get those miles in without the stress on your joints.
I think that's a good theme overall when you're making pool running a part of your exercise lifestyle. It does give you that almost full recovery on your legs, but unlike workout.
I have one. It's on how to keep your ankles neutral. When you're going, if you've ever had an Achilles injury, it's kind of like you keep it neutral, which feels like you're flexing it. So you almost feel like you're stretching your Achilles while you're running, and so that way you know you're not plantar and dorsiflexion, and you're not just kind of fiddling around down there. But it's good.
Good, very good. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks, Mark, Kristin, Cynthia, our filmmaker, and Heidi with the eloquent narrative.